This is the story of a left-brained, text-based, unobservant, bookwormish technophobe's attempt to make a mini-movie using AI, resulting in Orange Fairy Tale. The mini-movie was a class project inspired by the influential 1962 sci-fi movie La Jetée, a dreamlike visionary film involving experiments with time travel, made mostly with still photos. Orange Fairy Tale turned out to resemble La Jetée not at all. However, working with AI helped me identify some of my own challenges as a storyteller. I started by generating images using an algorithm known as Stable Diffusion. I prompted Night Cafe with words related to stories I've been working on, like one involving a giant, sinister fig tree, one whose protagonist is an elderly yokai, and a meandering yarn about 4 teenagers joyriding through LA in a Volkswagen Beetle in 1972. The Beetle in the original story wasn't orange. Though I worked on that story for hundreds of hours, it never occurred to me to identify its color. But in a visual medium, color comes up quickly. It was often quite difficult for me, a newbie, to get pictures resembling my vision of characters or settings. After dozens of failed tries, I became less intent on imposing my ideas on the AI. The process became a give and take. If the AI happened to come up with a picture I liked, I'd take my story idea in that direction. This picture was more aesthetically pleasing to me than most I was producing, so I decided the protagonist would work in an office. I went to OpenAI to work on the script. Oh yeah, I worked on this project way back in September 2022, which is like 10 years ago in AI years, and worked with GPT-3, not the current version, GPT-4. First, using an idea I got from some online AI prompting guru, I coached it that I wanted to write a story for sophisticated people. My words are in orange, GPT-3's are in blue. I introduced my office guy to GPT-3. As you may notice, OpenAI was sounding linear and practical when I was hoping for intuitive and imagistic. Spoiler, this may have been no accident. I'm kind of linear and practical. OpenAI and I worked on this story for a while. I introduced a biker gang, a robot named Lila, and Jojo the mechanic. However, the AI tended toward ordinary, slightly boring prose. There was the occasional delightful non sequitur. In retrospect, rather than characterizing my audience as sophisticated, I should have characterized my office guy more fully to give GPT-3 more to work with. That might have helped OpenAI know that I wanted the story voice and action to feel less staid. Meanwhile, I was finding it easier to get good Night Cafe images of the bug than of people. So I decided to make the bug the protagonist. I tried prompting GPT-3 for something more visual, more out there, like La Jetée. It did pretty well. However, I didn't pursue this poetic language. In retrospect, I should have prompted Night Cafe with Dragonfly VWs. In retrospect, it was I, not Night Cafe, who was too staid to even consider that. Instead, I changed direction. Again, GPT-3 did pretty well. But I was dissatisfied. Again, in retrospect, I was inflexible in my thinking about what a story is. I could have prompted images of the beetle in the Mariana Trench. That would have been more La Jetée, but it didn't occur to me. Around that time, though, a possible first line did occur to me. What happened next felt like one of those ghost in the machine moments. Did you ever feel like you were just a little bit different?
I always have. But that's okay, because I like being different. It's who I am.
This felt like the beginning of a story. By now I was learning a few things, and one of them was that part of the story should be told in pictures. I clued GPT-3 in on my insight. I gave it an example of how I wanted it to put in descriptions of companion images with the text it was writing. It took a minute. However, GPT-3 got the hang of writing appropriate photo descriptions, like this one, which it wrote to go with the plot development, the VW running away, that it also wrote. Getting Night Cafe to produce a VW with a for sale sign, however, turned out to be beyond my powers, at least in the week we had for the assignment. Next, I went back and forth between Night Cafe and GPT-3, trying to elicit images about the VW's life from Night Cafe, failing, then going back to work with GPT-3 for a story that harmonized with the occasional, unpredictably appealing images that Night Cafe produced. For instance, at one point, I planned to open the story with an image of a whole bunch of similar-looking navy blue cars, and among them, one orange Beetle. That didn't work out. Easy-seeming images, like Rena's Orange Grove home, were tougher than I expected. My plan for the Beetle to get up close and personal with another vehicle, whether a racy sports car or a homey Airstream, also seemed fated not to be. Regarding people and people with cars, apparently I need work. Some things did come easily. Sometimes the AI came up with an unexpected great touch, like Elfie's orange tie or this pensive, partially occluded view of Rena. Of course, it's the unexpected good stuff that's really interesting. On that note, I'll close with something GPT-3 told me when I asked it a question the other day. I asked it, "Who gives you your best ideas?"
That would be difficult to say, as I get a lot of great ideas from many different sources. However, if I had to narrow it down to one, I would say that my best ideas come from my own intuition and creativity.